Flash, did you do this? Flash, did you do this?
One free game, Splashway Beats, Splash on the check-in. Thank you for tuning in. Salute to Corey J. Hey. I want to thank everybody for tuning in at such short notice, because I just put up the link about an hour ago. Said that I was going to go live today. I mentioned at the later end of the show yesterday, and I said that I see you guys today, but I didn't put the link up until an hour ago. So my apologies on that. Usually I put it up at least 24 hours in advance, so you guys will get ready, set your schedule, and be prepared for today's topic. All right, so I'm going to touch on one chapter in the Save Yourself Black Men book made by Mad Bus Driver. This stream right here is sponsored by Russian Spy. Salute the Russian Spy. Okay, he's the reason behind this live stream right here. So thank him. Okay, tell a friend to tell a friend. And you know, before we get into today's topic, I want to give a rest in peace to Lil Keed. All right, Lil Keed out of YSL. I know the whole label is going through something right now, but salute to Lil Keed. Lil Keed, him and his brother, they're both rappers. And Lil Keed, he made a couple of tracks that I really, really like, you know, that I still play to this day. And he was only 24 years old. He was about to turn 25 tomorrow. And, you know, it's sad to hear that, man. Young guy, young brother. And, you know, I felt like he had a future in the game. Like, he put out some dope tracks. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of times people, they get up in the music and, you know, they come out with one song that hits. You know, it's hard to just come out with one song that hit, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5. And he was well on his way. I'm not saying that he didn't make it. He had like, what, over 1.3, 1.4 million followers on Instagram. So he was a star. And, man, he's going to be missed. It's sad because in the field of entertainment, especially in hip hop, it's so depressing because a lot of guys are beefing, a lot of guys are unhealthy, and you know, a lot of brothers they're losing their lives, you know, constantly in the field of entertainment. You know, it's so sad. So, you know, I just want to say, man, you know, get away from people who feel a way about you and eat healthy. You know, I promote eating healthy all the time. I promote the carnivore diet all the time. Drink water. You know what I'm saying? Leave that juice alone. Leave that sugar alone. Leave that Red Bull alone. Leave them energy drinks alone. Leave that liquor alone. Leave that lean alone. Leave the drugs alone. You know, take care of yourself. All right? You know, life is precious. Life is short. Okay, you don't want your kids to outgrow you. You know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want your kids to outgrow you. So rest in peace to Lil Keed one more time. All right. Let's see what else is in the media before we get started. I heard they having an Onyx and a Onyx versus with Cypress Hill. I'm not gonna watch that. At most, they can play one song, and that's it. I'm definitely not gonna watch that. Both of them, I don't feel like they have a solid 20 that people actually care about. No disrespect to them guys right there, but you know, as far as anything, Onyx, they had banger back in the day that my dad used to. My dad used to play the shit out of Onyx and what's that other group from Jersey? Naughty by Nature. My dad used to blare Naughty by Nature. Man. But salute to them too. I'm just not interested in watching that. Me personally. I guess that's about it. Nothing else is interesting. I guess that's about it. I almost took drugs because it was popular in school, because of rap. Yeah, man, hip hop music, some of your biggest influence out there in pop culture, they can influence you to do a lot, but you got to be strong-minded. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, people, they blame the parents, but man, it was never cool to listen to your parents ever. As far as I know, we thought our parents were lame. We thought our parents were party killers, party poopers. And we let the television raise us. We let hip hop raise us. We look more at our heroes in hip hop growing up more so than our mother and father who worked every single day, paid the bills, and put food on the table. And I know that's a cycle that's not going to be broken. It's a cycle that's not going to be broken at all. All you can do is your best. And yeah, it's sad. Because these drugs and, alcohol and lean, and that's taking a lot of people out. And hating on one another, that's taking a lot of people out today. So it's sad to hear about that. Let me turn this down just a bit. All right. So today we're going to talk about chapter 3 in the Save Yourself Black Men book. And I felt like, even though it's a short chapter, it's a short book rather, but I want to spend this entire stream on this one chapter right here, because there's a huge misconception behind the caliber of men that are well traveled. Okay, it's a huge misconception. This chapter is called Black Men, Freedom, and Passports. And I wouldn't mind having a conversation with Mad Bus Driver one day. I want to know if he's ever traveled anywhere before. But I don't want to see. The thing about it is like in this chapter, it doesn't really sound like he's traveled before. It's coming from a theoretical standpoint, and my channel is to bridge the gap between theory and reality when it comes to traveling, because it's one thing to interview people, to ask them about their time in certain countries, but it's another thing to not only interview people, but also being somebody that's well traveled as well, because I can decipher bullshit. And nobody, like, I told you guys, OG one time years ago, this was like 2003, 2004. He told me, Splash, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And I'll always remember that. I'll always remember that line. He said, you cannot bullshit a bullshitter. And when I'm somebody who's a well-known bullshitter, bullshit can't pass by me. All right. I've seen it. I've lived it. I've witnessed it through others. And, so I can hear when somebody's telling the truth who's thorough. And that doesn't mean that everything they're saying is negative. It's the truth. No. That's just their own reality. But there has to be a balance. Okay, there has to be a balance. And I'm somebody who's well traveled. I haven't been everywhere, and the has kept me from. It's held me back a little bit. But I've pretty much been everywhere in Asia that I've wanted to go to. I traveled all over Canada. I used to live in Canada. I've been to Mexico before. I traveled all over the United States. The only place I haven't really been to that I want to go to is, I want to travel to some places in Europe just to say I've been there. I want to go to Australia, New Zealand, and I want to choose a country in Africa to travel to. Not South Africa. I don't want to go to South Africa. Throughout my travels, no disrespect to anybody who might be cool from South Africa, but the tourists, the travelers from South Africa that I've met, a lot of them I really don't care for them all that much. Me personally, I don't care for them all that much. All right. So hold on, let me grab this water. All right. I want to take a swig of this water and we're going to get started. All right. Before I get into this live stream, I already gave a salute to everybody that donated yesterday, but I want to give a salute to, I don't want to say your full name. I don't know if you want to put your full name out there, but the brother Aaron, salute to Aaron for the $5 Cash App donation. Nomadic 005, salute to you. Salute to Aaron for the $5 Cash App donation. Okay. If you have anything you want to promote, hit me up. And guys, if you have anything you want to promote, please let me know so I can promote your products on this page. I can do an entire video on this page. I want to promote Black businesses. I don't give a damn if you're selling stickers, candles, draws. Like, please create something so I can promote you. Okay. This Rent Free Gang, it's a movement, it's a brand, it's here to stay. I own the brand. I own Rent Free Gang. All right. I own it. Okay. It's been patented. Trademark, excuse me. It's been trademarked. I'm the owner of Rent Free Gang. Okay. So anytime somebody's talking about Rent Free Gang this, Rent Free Gang that, they got their YouTube channel name as Rent Free Gang, you let me know because I could get it taken down. All right. I own it. I can show the paperwork. I paid it. I paid the cost. It cost a lot of money to get it trademarked. All right. It is not cheap. Especially you have to pay for each category. All right. So I have a huge respect for a lot of these brands out here. The Samiko Garashis, the Super Marios and stuff like that. When you got some of these brands that are on everything, like Samiko Garashi, they sell video games, movies, blankets, pillows, clothes, notebooks, backpacks, shoes, socks. The list goes on and on. Pencil sharpeners, pens, markers, notebooks, sticky pads, like you name it, binders. They have everything in Samiko Garashi. And let me tell you, you have to trademark everything. You have to pay for each thing that you're putting the logo on, putting your brand on, and you have to pay for each character that you make. That adds up. It gets expensive. All right, so I have a totally different level of respect for people who own a brand and they create different characters, and then they have to trademark each character, and then you got to trademark each item that it's on. Yes, it adds up. It costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It is not cheap. All right. So salute to you. But anyways, you feeling froggy and you want to donate, you appreciate you appreciate what I'm doing. You appreciate the efforts that I'm making. Man, Cash App information's on the screen, $Splashway Beats. All right. We have the PayPal information in the description box below. All right. We have PayPal. The links is there. Patreon page. Link is in the description box below for the Patreon page. All right, Patreon page. Salute to everybody that's on Patreon. What else? Or you could join and become a YouTube member. All right. So once again, salute to the brother Aaron for the $5 Cash App donation. Now let's get into it. So chapter 3 is about black men, freedom, and passports. Prayers. Oh, you talking about Buffalo NY? I heard about that. Yeah, my prayers and goes out to them. I heard it was a hate crime. I heard he live streamed it, just like what happened in New Zealand a couple years ago. It's almost like the same thing. You know, a lot of brothers, a lot of black people were targeted from what I heard. But I don't have all the details on that right now, but I heard about it. So that's insane. All right, so let's get into today's chapter. Okay. So Mad Bus Driver, he starts off by, and like I don't want to read the entire book because I want you guys to get it. All right. But he starts off talking about Jack Welch, the former head of GE, General Electric, once stated that his successor couldn't be like him, spending their entire career in the U.S. He implored that the company spread their best prospects for leadership around the globe. Why? Traveling provides a unique window to viewing and experiencing the world. Now, however, I do agree with traveling provides a unique window to viewing and experiencing the world. I do agree with that statement right there. But however, I don't think that, brothers getting their passport and talking about the former head of General Electric, Jack Welch, I don't, you're talking about a Fortune 500 company and the CEO of that is, somebody that's in a dominant society. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a totally different experience. And I don't think that really correlates in my eyes. However, I do encourage everybody to travel. I do encourage everybody to travel and see the world. Just because, and I know there's a difference between traveling and living abroad. Just because you live abroad. Now, for those who are living abroad, just because you live abroad doesn't mean that life is going to be that much better for you. All right. Some people, you're better off staying put in America and you're better off just traveling every once in a while. All right. In my opinion. Because, if you're just coming over here with one stream of income, then, and if that stream of income is fairly low, then I wouldn't advise it at all. I don't see what you really gain from that. You would gain more building up your legacy, and building up, creating a path for yourself in America. You see what I'm saying? It's more beneficial for you to create your own path in America than to try to do that abroad, especially when you only have one stream of income. And especially if that stream of income really only comes from like teaching English, then I wouldn't advise it. I would not advise it, in my opinion. Okay, because in the long run, if one of the things you want to, I don't like, to me personally, having kids is not a goal, it's a gift. I know there was a person years ago, we were having a conversation about it, and he felt like having kids is a goal and not a gift. And I'm like, that's bullshit. And this was coming from a single parent, the two baby mamas paying child support for those two kids that he had. And then he came abroad making little to nothing when he came abroad. So, and it raised by a single mother. So you can tell why his views were like that. All right. Castle me, you're kind of going off topic a little bit. You got to stay on topic. If you want to go off topic, then you're going to have to put that in a Cash App or Super Chat. Okay, I want to stay on topic. All right. So for people like that, I mean, there's like I made an entire stream talking about who traveling is for, living abroad is for. Visiting is one thing, but living abroad is totally different. And him making, him quoting what the CEO at one point in time for General Electric said. Yes, I feel like that is it's a good point that he made, but comparing him and then talking to, which is just the average everyday audience, the average everyday black male, black female, I'm not going to say that, 100% of the people that purchased his book were all males. I'm pretty sure one or two females or a handful of females probably purchased it. But for anybody, because I give my game to everybody. All right. I've given game to black women, whether they appreciated it or not. And I give game to black men as well. But not a bad quote, but I don't want to. It's almost as if like, well, this guy's successful and this was a quote that he gave. So why not follow his mindset? You see what I'm saying? So me personally, not a terrible example, but I wouldn't give the example of somebody of general. Like that's just me. So I'm not criticizing the book in a negative way. I'm just giving my opinion. All right. So I don't want anybody to take my opinion the wrong way. All right. I'm not bashing the book, anything. Okay. Somebody asked me to do a review of the book. They paid. I don't want to say they paid. They gave a really nice donation for me to review the book, and I'm honoring his donation. And I'm not here to bash the book. I'm just giving my opinion. Okay. I just want to put that out there, that disclaimer out there first. All right. Like you said, traveling provides a unique window to viewing and experience the world. Absolutely. Traveling does provide a unique window to viewing and experiencing the world. Because let me tell you, years ago, when I was like in my early 20s, I was like 20 years old. I was at the workplace, and some people have never traveled to Asia. We was talking about Japan. Some people have never traveled to Asia. Somebody who was younger than me at the time gave their opinion, but tried to make it, try to twist it. Basically, he took facts that didn't apply to foreigners and gave his opinion on it, and was like pretty confident about his opinion. But I always felt that it was bullshit, because he said somebody brought up the idea of wanting to move to Japan one day. And basically the person who said that was just an anime nerd. All right. It was an anime nerd. And he was like, man, I want to move to Japan one day. And then somebody else gave their opinion saying, he said, nah, living in Japan is just unlivable. It's just the competition is just so fierce. Even your most educated they don't even make it in the work field over there. So, I wouldn't move to Japan, and this, that, and third. It's just, there's no point. It's cool to visit, but I wouldn't move there. And that was from somebody who, at that point in time, I hadn't traveled yet. I haven't traveled anywhere yet. And I've been to Japan. All right. I haven't traveled just yet. That person hasn't traveled anywhere yet. And for him to say that, I heard him out. But even back then, instinctively, I did not believe him. I didn't believe him because you're speaking. And as I've traveled, I really don't believe him. It was a half truth because basically his opinion, or I'm not going to say it wasn't facts, but that's speaking from a Japanese point of view. All right. Somebody who's a foreigner that speaks English, somebody from America. No, that's not necessarily the case. All right. Your experience is going to be different from somebody who is Japanese. And there are different angles you can enter into the work field as an American, especially, and it helps if you do know the Japanese language. Now, I've met some people who have worked for Japanese companies who were American, and they expressed the hardships of, basically, the issues that they've had working for a Japanese company, in Japan. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard the mistreatment that they went through, and that's them. But entry-level position or doing freelance work over there, nah, it's totally different. It's totally different. And what he said was half truth. What he said was speaking from a Japanese person's perspective, but there were no Japanese people at the workplace that, you know what I'm saying? It was all Americans. So somebody giving their opinion who hasn't really experienced the world yet, who has not traveled yet, you know what I'm saying? It can deter you away from actually traveling when you hear somebody saying stuff like that, who them don't even know what they're talking about. So for somebody who has traveled, I know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people respect my opinion because I give it to you straight. Good, bad, right or wrong, I give it to you straight. Okay? I'm always going to be a straight shooter when it comes to traveling abroad. I could be out here lying to you just for the sake of lying so I can get paid more. There's more money in lying. Okay? There's way more money in lying. There's way more money selling you cake and ice cream instead of a well-balanced meal. And there's some certain things that's a part of that meal that it's kind of like, okay, I'm tired of eating this. I don't want this. I want that. Even though what I'm serving you is a lot more healthier than somebody who's serving you something that's lying the entire time. It's way more profitable to lie. All right. So let's continue. All right. So basically, man, I encourage everybody to travel, but see if living abroad is right for you. I have an entire video talking about who should live abroad or not. Okay, traveling and living abroad are two totally different things, and there are two totally different types of people who should travel or live abroad. Okay. For General Electric to compete internationally, it would need to incorporate the best cultural business habitats from all over the world. The organization's new leadership would need to understand, appreciate, and employ the best facets of culture throughout the world. Yes, that applies for businesses. Okay, that applies for, these Fortune 500 companies. That applies, like McDonald's. Like, you do have to adapt to the local culture. All right, the menu in Japan for McDonald's is not going to be the same menu for people in Thailand versus the same for people in Canada versus the same for people in America. In America, you have your American, you have your American menu at McDonald's. In Canada, it's similar. It's quite similar to the menu in. It's quite similar to the menu in America, but guess what? They might add poutine to it. If you don't know what poutine is, it's fries with gravy and cheese. Nasty as hell, but that's what they like in Canada. So they add that to the menu. You know, they're culturally adapting to what people like in that country. You know, it shows warmth. It shows them thinking of others and caring for others in a cultural way. Okay. In Thailand, you're gonna have a separate menu where they serve like rice chicken with spicy sauce on it. Okay, they have that menu. They have that on the McDonald's menu. For a Japanese menu on McDonald's, let's see real quick. McDonald's menu, Japan. Okay. The McFlurries are different. The drinks are a little bit different. Okay. The burgers are different. What they put on a burger is different. Okay. Their menu looks totally different than what they would serve in America. The sauce, they have a chocolate drizzled fries. So they have fries and they put chocolate cream on the salty fries. And that's something that they might like in Japan. But that applies for these big corporations, these big businesses. Okay? Does it apply to the average Negro going over there with a passport in his hand and $5,000 in his bank account? No. No, but I feel what he's trying to say. Salute the Russian spy for the $5 Cash App donation. I think topics on how much money talks in Thailand, also their specific laws for foreigner would make good subjects in the future. I will take note of that. That might be a sensitive topic, so I might have to make that into a Patreon special, but I'll have to see how I'll approach, what angle would I approach, what information from that would I put on YouTube and what would I leave on Patreon, you know. But that is a good topic. That is a good topic right there. All right, because I can expound on that more in, you know, like an hour video. But good idea. All right, so one of the things, there were a couple of things that he mentioned. He said, generally speaking, black men who travel, there were three things that he mentioned. He said, tend to have higher IQs, have better grips on what's going on globally, and are more adept in dealing with and avoiding conflict. Now, I totally disagree with number one. Okay? I totally disagree with number one. They tend to have higher IQs. Now, sometimes, what does an IQ measure for the most part? Okay? The IQ test measures several different categories. It measures several different categories. Okay, your cognitive abilities, the individual's intellectual abilities and potential, and a psychological test. Okay? Some might even say the critical thinking skills. Some might even say if you have a high IQ test, if you score high on the IQ, you're on the IQ test, you're very smart and you're a genius. And to me, that's not always the case. You know, even for people who do well in school, just because you do well in school don't mean that you're going to make it out here in the real world. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're more intelligent than others. Some people, they just have a photographic memory. I know some smart, dumb niggas out there. And I know some dumbass, smart niggas out there. All right. Now, I think people who travel, you have more exposure to the world, you gain more information. And the best way to learn about somebody's culture or country is by traveling, not by reading in a book, not by listening to people from that country in America, because they're always going to put their best foot forward. They're not going to tell you, they're not going to show you both sides of the coin. And taking a class is BS also. Okay? Because like I said, they're always going to put their best foot forward. The best way to learn is by traveling. So does that mean you're going to have a higher IQ because you travel? No. Basically, you're just going to gain more information. You're going to gain more information. You're going to acquire more information. Okay? That loading screen is going to move a lot faster. Okay? The capacity of your mind, man, the storage space in your mind is going to expand. Okay? So if your brain can hold, if your brain is 5 terabytes, well, let's just give an example. If your brain is holding 5 terabytes and you've only used up 300 gigabytes this entire time in your life, when you start traveling, you know what I'm saying? Now your brain having 300 gigs worth of storage on that drive is probably going to expand to 500 gigs or 750 gigs, if you know what I'm saying. But does that mean that you're going to have a much higher IQ? No, because there's a lot of fuck ups that travel abroad. And there's a lot of people who don't need to be traveling. I just had a discussion with somebody about this just the other day. There were, you know, you guys heard me say this, tell you this story before. I knew a black couple from America who traveled abroad, and hold on real quick. I need to reposition my laptop. Hold on. Hold up. Testing. Testing. Okay, my bad. My bad. My bad. All right. My bad. Now can you hear me? I think everybody can hear me now. I had to move my laptop over so it could reach this charger. Okay. And emotions isn't one of them. That's pseudoscience. The information you learn in school is factual knowledge, and that's not the same. And that's the thing. What you learn about traveling abroad in school, a lot of it's bullshit. I need to minimize my cursing, but a lot of it's BS. Some of it is, I mean, there's some truth to it, but a lot of it's BS. Okay. I learned way more about these countries and culture traveling. And actually, you learn a lot about culture when you attend school or university in some of these countries. Okay. Because, a lot of times when I say, hey, man, there's a lot of racism, there is racism in different countries. When I hear people saying there's no racism, this is somebody who they've only scratched the surface of the country. Okay. Or they're non-black, or they've never attended a university. They've never actually had to um work with or collab with somebody that's a local of that country without like them giving them their money for for the exchange of their goods that they're trying to sell to them. You sit in a classroom and you have to work with somebody. You have to get along with somebody and organize with somebody, and you don't have any money. You're not buying anything from them. They don't have anything for sale. You really see the true nature out of certain people. You know what I'm saying? So, and that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody being racist is always a negative thing. It's just, man, I have a concern for the people in my own group, and people of your skin color doesn't align. Favoring people of your skin color doesn't align with the overall group thinking of my community, of my culture. And it is what it is. I don't see why a lot of black people get upset over that. The thing about it is these people out here, they're not trying to run away from each other like you. You know what I'm saying? They're not immediately trying to just get away from anybody in their community besides us. We're always trying to isolate ourselves and get far, far away from people that look like us. And let me tell you, a lot of people, a lot of brothers, a lot of, black men and black women are just going to have to learn to, get through what we have, get through our issues. Okay. So just because somebody travels, it doesn't mean that the IQ, it doesn't automatically shoot through the roof or gets higher. No, it's just, what you're talking about when it comes to traveling. That's it. There's a lot of idiots who travel abroad. A lot of them, I would say damn near most, are a bunch of idiots that travel abroad. These aren't your intelligent class of people, your scholars, and you know what I'm saying? Even though they do have a degree, they do have that paper, it doesn't mean anything. Okay. It doesn't mean anything. Now, does that mean that everybody out here is slow and stupid? No. But it doesn't mean anything that somebody comes out. It's just you. And sometimes, man, a lot of people aren't really honest about what's going on abroad, because so many people back home, more than likely, had a lot of negative things to say about them traveling abroad. So a lot of times they don't really keep it real with their family. This is why a lot of brothers, they just feel like getting a passport is the ultimate flex in life. Oh man, let me get up out of here and move abroad to, this country, this continent, or whatever. Because how would that look for somebody who wanted to move abroad, and then their family kept telling them that they were dumb for trying to move, they were dumb for trying to leave. You're not going to make it. You're stupid. No, the women aren't as good over there. They're no good over there. This is that and the third. They don't want you. If they don't want you here, they don't want you over there. And then you move abroad, and a lot of what they're saying really isn't necessarily true, but some of the things they're saying is true. How would that look if they go abroad and then they call back home to their family saying, hey, you were wrong about this, but you were right about this? Okay. You think they're going to hold their hat on you saying what they were wrong about, or you think they're going to hold their hat on saying what they were right about? There's always a positive and a negative side. They're only going to focus on the negative that they feel, hey, I told you, I told you, I told you. But even some of the negatives that they had to say, they're not always correct. Okay, so I don't automatically feel from the people that I've met tend to have higher IQs. That's a bunch of bull. Okay, the people who tend to have higher IQs in America or who are American are people who are your top 10% earners who figured it out in America, who stayed on your top 10% earners. How were they able to stay and reach to a level that you weren't able to reach without leaving the country? How do they make the system of America work for them? Those are people who I find intelligent to me. Okay, or people who live abroad. Yes, there are people who have high IQs that live abroad. People who have found a way to make a substantial amount of money by working for themselves, for their own business or some online business that they have. Those are people that are fairly intelligent and they have a lot of patience. Okay. So the second point, have better grips on what's going on globally. Absolutely, I agree with that. I agree with that. They have better grips on what's going on because there's some things that I see on the news that they report on the news about a country, and I'm like, no, I'm here. That's BS. Like, for example, the whole issue in Taiwan. When I was there, because I was living in Taiwan when everything in over there in Eastern Europe was going on. And let me tell you, Taiwan was trending. You had millions of tweets about Taiwan when everything was just started off and just started to kick off over there in Eastern Europe, right? And people kept messaging me talking about, hey, man, you got to get out of Taiwan. You got to get out of Taiwan. I fear for your safety. And I'm like, there are no threats over here. And then they kept reporting on, Chinese warships and aircraft flying into the 80s zone, the aircraft zone of Taiwan. Then they started reporting that out west, like, hey, they've been flying into the zone. I'm like, they've been doing that for decades. I'm like, y'all do realize the 80s zone, the aircraft zone, Taiwan's aircraft zone stretches all the way out to China's mainland. If you look at the zone, type in ADIZ zone Taiwan, and you'll see that their zone stretches all the way to China's mainland. So how would one of their planes not fly through the zone? Oh, they flew in the zone and they flew back. 5 of them flew in the zone and they flew back. How would they not? It stretches all the way to their mainland, China's mainland. You see what I'm saying? So for somebody who actually lived there, who knew it, that's why I wasn't worried about it when I was there. I didn't leave because I feared for war to pop up, because I knew the game over there. See, the news, the Western news was trying to instigate something over there. Then you had Joe Biden sign into law that, hey, we will no longer acknowledge Taiwan as a Chinese province. It's an independent country on its own. And I'm kind of like, okay, why would he make that announcement? What's the point of him doing that? I found that curious, and I'm like, okay, with all the things that they're trying to report on the Western news over there and things that they're trying to write in law, it seemed a bit suspicious, but I wasn't worried because, hey, I lived in Taiwan at the time. I'm like, I know what's going on over here. And what people are saying out west is not what's brewing up over here. But I did know that cases were going to rise. The cases were rising. And now the cases are, I think it's at 80,000 now. It's much higher than what it is out here in Thailand right now. Like 41 people passed away yesterday, and it's just increasing. So what one group of people, yes, you do globally, you do have grips on what's going on globally when you travel, okay? You do see certain things, especially in a country that you're living in. You see reports of it on the internet and be like, hey, man, all that's BS. They're just they're reaching for a story. All right, culturally. And another thing that I like to do when I travel is I like to learn other people's culture, not because there's certain things that I could take from other people's culture and I admire it. But I'm not trying to assimilate into nobody's culture, and I don't hold anybody else's culture above my own culture. And that's the problem with a lot of black folks, which you see a lot of black people trying to assimilate into Asian culture out here. You see them holding it up in the highest regards on an elevated pedestal. And I'm like, those aren't people with high IQs, in my opinion. That's stupidity. And a lot of people who do that, they're the main ones that go through the most hardships out here. Because people out here, they're quick to remind you, you're not one of us. Knock it off. Stay in your lane. And they get a nigga wake-up call. Those are the main ones who get nigga wake-up calls out here. All right? Now, the third point are more adept in dealing with and avoiding conflict. To me, that's like, yes and no, because first of all, if you're getting a visa, especially a work visa for any of these countries, first of all, they're going to check your background. Okay, they're going to check your criminal record. They want to know your criminal record. They're just not going to let anybody into the country. Now, they might let certain people who committed certain crimes visit the country, but you cannot get a work permit. And some people, depending on what's on your record, they're not even going to let you in the country. All right. And most of the time, people who are traveling abroad, who are trying to live abroad and get work visas abroad, they are educated. So you have educated people with little to nothing on their criminal record trying to live abroad. Of course, they're going to, I mean, they've been avoiding conflict, or they've done their level best at trying to avoid conflict their entire life. Okay? Because these are people who are in corporate America on the work field who want to have a clean slate so that when they approach an employer, the last thing on their mind for them, especially when you're black or something, or a misdemeanor on your record, that's can't hire you. This is why we can't hire this black man. He has something on his record. So the last thing, they can't use, all right, they have, they have this on their record. Yeah, it was a little misdemeanor that they had that was back in, when they were 14, 15 years old, but we don't know. It was in his blood. Seemed like he didn't come from a good two-parent household, or, didn't come from good parenting in his household. So, we're kind of skeptical about hiring him, even though that happened like 14 years ago. We don't know. You never know. Right? So a lot of people who live abroad, they've done their level best at avoiding conflict. So the last thing that would make an employer turn them away is because of their criminal record. You judge me based off my skills, not because of my record. So most people, I do agree with that third point, but at the same time, okay, I give him that, but I don't agree with number one. I do agree with number two, and the third point, it's like, okay, all right. He says, here in the U.S., I've crossed paths with an innumerable amount of black men who never left their cities of birth. They've lived their entire lives within a tiny square mile radius, known colloquially as the hood. You can see it in their eyes, the fear of leaving what is familiar to them. You can feel the confinement on their faces. You can hear the entrapment in their voices. The things that they talk about tend to be shaped by ignorant, hearsay, aggressive overtones, or stereotypical goals. On the other hand, brothers who venture beyond the states, well, you can almost sense the difference. Exposure to other cultures, belief systems, and ideologies provide life options and foreign opportunities. Often the result is an altered worldview. Travel opens up new circles of association, varied objects of discussion, and novel ways of thought. Okay. I partially agree with that. Just because somebody's never left the States, they've never left America. You know what I'm saying? And especially 2022, like a lot of black people today don't live in ghettos. Okay. A lot of black people don't live in the hood. All right. There are Hispanic hoods, white hoods, black hoods. Okay. And there's a large portion of black people who don't live in hoods. All black people in America aren't in the hood and they're not poor, especially in the South. You know, I don't know about anybody else anywhere else, but there's a lot of black suburbs in the South. All right. And just because somebody doesn't travel doesn't mean that, you know, they're not, you know, they're closed minded. They're not going to grow up they're not going to be of use to anything or anyone growing up. And their level of success is going to be a lot lower than somebody who travels abroad. I think a lot of times you cut off your opportunities when you travel abroad, when you live abroad. So I would have to ask him, okay, are you talking about traveling for a short amount of time or just living abroad? Because living abroad, really you're cutting off, you know, for a lot of people who aren't tech savvy, okay? For a lot of people who aren't tech savvy, you're cutting off a lot of your options when you travel, when you live abroad. You're cutting off a lot of options. Okay? You're cutting off a lot of opportunities when you live abroad. I just interviewed the brother Fred, okay? The brother Fred, he was out here for a number of years, and I'm not going to put his business out there, but he was making a certain amount of money. And it was hard for him to save. He'll tell you it was hard for him to save. All right. And he only had one stream of income. All right. He had to go back to America. But now that he's back in America, he's happy that he's in America. You can listen to him. I believe he said that in an interview. He's happy to be in America because, you know, now he's able to save more. And there are endless opportunities for him. It's like, man, I got a good job already, but if I want to get a second job and make more, or get my education over here, if I want to, you know, build up stock within this company, build up an IRA and a retirement plan through this company, I could do that. I put in my 20, 30 years and then I could retire. All right. Depending on what you're doing abroad, especially if it's just entry-level positions, you can't do that abroad. The same benefits that you have in your home country, they're not openly available for you. They're not openly available for you in some of these foreign countries. And it depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing. Like for me in Canada, man, like I said, I was in oil and gas. Oil and gas, yes, that's totally different than somebody who's doing entry-level position work in Asia. It's totally different. There's another brother. He has, I forgot his name. I think his name is Robert something. He's out of Philly. He lives in Japan. He has a YouTube channel where he's gardening. He has a garden. He was, what was he? A news anchor. A news anchor. You know, he was delivering the news to people. You know, he was in television, radio, news. A news anchor. So, I mean, that's a totally different path than what most people take when they travel abroad, especially in Asia. Most people, they don't come out here to Asia, let alone Japan, and become a news anchor. All right. Is that impossible? Is that impossible to become? No, as you can see in that example, there are other opportunities that you can take when traveling abroad. But the average person that travels out here, they get into entry-level position work, and you don't have the same level of opportunities out abroad as you do in America. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. All right, you need to think about your future, especially when you're thinking about starting a family. Did you know what was going to happen past few weeks? What are you talking about? Megan Styles, what are you talking about? Did you know what was going to happen past few weeks? Play. What are you talking about? Okay, I don't know what he's talking about. It's off topic, and if he's trolling, we're just gonna get you up out of here. An example with men who travel to the Philippines to collect single moms with 2 pups or go-go wives, I would say they're stupid. Yes, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. I'm almost there. It's coming. I'm almost there. But are you limiting your level of success by staying in America? No. No. No, you're not actually. You know, some people you have their career field is quite unique, and you know, their company, they have different companies traveling abroad, and then they can put in a request to do that same position somewhere in a different country. And if it's a country that they desire, then, you know, good for them. Like out here, you see a lot of white people. I mean, there's a lot of white owned companies out here, and you'll see like a white staff member at some of these companies. So, you know, they got the Apple store out here in Thailand and Taiwan. And, you know, from time to time on the right day, you'll go in and you'll see a white person actually working there. Okay. They're going to have a totally different experience than somebody who's coming out here on an entry-level position. They're going to have a totally different experience. Their views on living abroad, working abroad is totally different. You know, I would say for them, that's not bad. I would say for them, that is a good, that is a good move for them. Guys, we only have, guys, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. We have 5 likes. Like, brothers, come on, man. If y'all want to support the platform, support the stream, please hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. All right. Another thing that I want to mention, uh, traveling for some people is better. Staying in America is better. Living abroad is better for some people, and living in America is better. I would say living in America, staying in America is better for most. Traveling is a good way to unwind and just go on a vacation. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Japan. You have a lot of people, especially a lot of black nerds out there who just moved to Japan because they were anime fans growing up. And that's not a good reason why you should move to Japan. You can admire certain things from abroad, but some people, they want to immerse themselves within Japanese culture. Oh, it looks like fun, and it's just fun land all the time. I just want to learn the language, and I just admire the women, and they think the women in these animes are the same as women in real life, and that's totally the opposite. So their worldview is tainted, right? So for somebody like that, I wouldn't advise them to move abroad and live abroad just because you don't get along with people locally in your own neighborhood. I don't advise those type of people to just move abroad. Now, to travel, yes, but to move abroad, no. Okay, but yes, expanding your mind, traveling will expand your mind. Okay, so I don't want to read the entire thing, but it goes on to say, among the black men I've met who've never left their immediate environment, their expenses in one way or another are intricately linked to the hyena clan. How? These men spend money acquiring trinkets meant to prove status among the locals, which ultimately attracts local women who hold such trinkets in high regard. The black men who stay local and have a small mindset tend to sire multiple children by many different women who themselves are regional. Now, let me tell you something. Okay, so Mayor Styles is a troll. I don't get the point of trolling, but let's just ban this coon. And do we have any mods in the? We don't have any mods. Yeah, I'll just mod for the day. We're gonna get these coons up out of here. We're gonna get these coons up out of here. I really don't seriously get the point of trolling, and I'm pretty sure this person who's trolling, he has 50 different screen names. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's worried about you, but you worried about me. I don't mind your trolling, but at least put it in the super chat. I'll read your trolling, but put it in a Cash App or super chat. I'll read it. I'll acknowledge your trolling, but just put it in a super chat. But anyways, where was I? The black men who stay local have a small mindset and tend to sire multiple children by many different women who themselves are regional. Now, I mean, that's kind of a half truth. The brother Kevin Samuels, rest in peace to him. He looked up that bit of information for a lot of blacks and said that, hey, 56% of black men are single and childless. 64% are in the middle class in America. So the majority of young black males today don't have kids. They're not having kids by multiple women. Those are the Pookie and Ray Ray class. So 56 plus the 30% that are married, 86. So you're talking about the bulk of the black community, the children, the bulk of the kids that are being made are just by the 18%. Well, the 16%, excuse me. It's by the 16%. We can round it off and say 20% of men. So a lot of these brothers who just stay locally in America, No, a lot of them are not having a bunch of kids by different women. The majority of them are not having a bunch of kids by different women. It's really 16 to 20% of the men are having a bunch of kids by different women in America, which for whatever reason, that small percentage, it somehow, we get painted with a broad stroke of the brush coming from the 16 to 20%. And that's not fair. And the thing about it is, that's just the culture. Going back to what he was saying, these men spend money acquiring trinkets meant to prove status among the locals, which ultimately attracts local women who hold such trinkets in high regard. That's just the culture. That's just the culture. You see what I'm saying? And there might be some things we like and dislike about our culture. But the thing about it is I don't know why we have to deem our culture, as negative all the time. You see what I'm saying? And it's just not us who do it. It's a lot of white people who trick off their money to purchase BS trinkets all the time as well. Thing about it is you don't understand certain trinkets that a lot of white people purchase, right? So you go to, I said this before, you go to the Stampede, any of these rodeos, right? Texas, they got them. Through the South, they got them. One of the biggest rodeos that you ever go to, that I've been to in life, was the Stampede in Calgary. It's coming up really soon. It's coming up shortly. I advise you guys, you brothers in America, you should purchase your plane tickets to go over to the Stampede in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Okay? But anyways, you want to see flexing. See, the thing about it is you looking for the diamonds. You looking for the Bentleys, the foreign cars. You looking for, jewelry. You're not looking at this person's $5,000 cowboy hat. You're not looking at this person's $10,000, $15,000 cowboy boots that he got on. You're not looking at this guy's $2,000 cowboy belt that he has on. You see what I'm saying? So those things you don't know about because you're not well versed on it. Like a lot of white people, they spend money beyond their means as well. It's America. America's. The average American lives beyond their means. They're 2 paychecks away from being homeless. The average American, so that includes all races of people. So when somebody's trying to teach you financial literacy, it's coming from a place of, well, my people do it better than your people. Okay? Average American, that includes all races of people, are 2 weeks away from being broke and homeless. Okay, just because your skin color approves you certain loans and credit that I'm not granted, certain, you know what I'm saying? Even, let me take that back, not credit, but it approves you for certain things that I'm not granted because of red line tape laws, doesn't mean that you know financial literacy better than me, that you're more financial literate than me. You see what I'm saying? But that stain of our people have the loudest voices and infamous. No. And that's the thing. Some of y'all, I don't know if you guys have ever really lived around different cultures. I've lived around Latinos, okay? I'm from San Antonio. I've lived around Latinos. I've lived around poor white people. The thing about it is I would say the thing that we do, but it happens in Latino community, the things that we do, it's just a brighter light shine on us. For example, the murder rate, okay? It's just a brighter light shine on us, all right? Now, that's one thing I feel like it should stop. But besides the shootings, man, I've lived in Middle America. I've lived in Mexican ghettos. I've lived in barrios. I've lived in next to trailer parks and everything. Man, let me tell you, stop putting yourself down if you never really lived in other communities, because y'all don't know. You guys, you have no idea. That's just the culture. You know what I'm saying? You hustling to buying certain trinkets. Just we live in a capitalistic culture, the capitalistic society. That's just the culture. Asians, they do the same thing. Women out here, they do the same thing. They go to Bahrain. They selling, they sell a juice box for a little bit more in Bahrain. And what do? They start flossing on the internet. They start doing the same things that you wag your finger at your own people for. They do the same thing. In China, they do the same thing. Their level of flossing is on a totally different level. Some of them, they make so much money, they're driving around in a dirty Lamborghini that's filled with dirt, speeding, then they crash the car, they leave it there, they go buy another one the next day. They do the same thing. They do the same thing. Some of these proposals that you see, some of these marriage proposals that I've seen, it's insane. They do the same thing. They floss. If they got it, they're going to floss it. Like, I've seen it in China. I did a whole special talking about the dark side of Korea. Y'all don't know flossing like them. Y'all want to talk about flossing. The majority of the people in Korea, they owe money to a loan shark, a violent loan shark in Korea. The majority of people out there. So that's where flossing has gotten a lot of people in Korea. Where you got loan sharks chasing after you. That's what I said. That Squid Game, there's a lot of validity to that Squid Game show that a lot of people don't know about, because I've traveled to Korea many times. And like I said, I have to agree with Mad Bus Driver that yes, in fact, you do have better grips on what's going on globally. So, I mean, that's just the culture. So let me tell you that there's some things about Thai culture that's, I raise an eyebrow to. There are things about Taiwanese culture I raise an eyebrow to. There are things in everybody's culture that I raise an eyebrow to. All right. But they're not shouting at the heavens and letting others know about the negative things about their culture. You see what I'm saying? It's just they don't put everything negative about their culture and what they hate about it out in the open, because they have a code. And that's one thing I say about us. We just put our entire business out there to everybody. That's one thing about our culture that I really can't stand. But guess what? As far as buying trinkets to attract each other, man, that's just the culture. Good, bad, right, or wrong. And I don't approach other people's culture saying like, hey, I know my people are this, that, and the third. I'm ashamed about it. Man, just forgive me and my people. I'm not like them. No, fuck that. You come around me, bitch, that's the way it is. You got a problem with my culture? Well, shit, go back to your own culture. That's how I am with everybody. Man, I take pride in mine, even though there's some things that are negative. Man, I have confidence in me, in my cultural background. I don't hold this thing over my head where I need to be ashamed of my culture. Fuck everybody. This is what I'm trying to teach you guys, to walk with confidence whenever you travel abroad. The other day, I just went off on somebody who culturally disrespected me at a gym, a worker. I don't give a damn if he was confused or he didn't know if that was right or wrong or whatever. Nah, because let me tell you, out here in Thailand, I've said this before, people, especially the women, they take offense to everything. The littlest things they take offense to out here, and they just get angry. They don't try to educate you. They don't try to, put you up on game and warn you about certain things and have a soft, respectable approach about certain things that you may not have that much information to, or you may not be privy to, that might offend them. No, they get angry about it, and it's over nothing. And it's kind of like, okay, damn that. And a lot of times they'll make up things as they go along just to try to control you, the situation, and the relationship. So certain things that they get upset about, I don't care if they get offended by it. Bye. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you, they get offended by it, and they feel like they have every right to be offended by it. And guess what? Other people are going to be on cold with them, when they get angry about it. Man, you need to do the same thing too. Stop being afraid of being the asshole American when you travel abroad. Because let me tell you, when you're the soft, happy-go-lucky, easy to get along American when you travel abroad, guess what? People take advantage of it. They take advantage of that. They take advantage of that instantly. All right. I'll never forget, I was in TGI Fridays downtown Taipei. Me and a brother from New York chopping up game down there, downtown TGI Fridays. And there was some white dude. I think he was with a Taiwanese woman, maybe his wife. I don't know. And he'd been waiting. He ordered some food. He had been waiting a long time. And he got pissed and started yelling. Waiting too long. What the I've been waiting this damn long for my food. I'm hungry. I got my girl with me. I got my family with here. We're hungry. What's taking you so long? Give me my food right now. Give me back my money. I've been waiting this long. He was going off. He was going off. He didn't care. He didn't care. Do you think that the Asian workers looked at him like, sir, we're going to put you out? You yelling, all that yelling, I mean, that's against our culture. We just going to put you out. We don't give a damn how long you've been waiting. They're busy making other people's orders. You're not the only one in here. We don't give a damn. We could just put you. No, they didn't do that. They were scared. And they were very accommodating to his request. They're extremely accommodating. They were like, hey, okay, don't worry. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure to get your meal out as soon as possible. Don't worry. We'll take care of you. They were calming him down. They were helping him out to whatever he needed. All right. So, I'm not one of those ones who, if I'm pissed off about something, I'm going to show it. I don't care. I don't care about if I don't save face to them and you got to work along. Somebody, they try to say, well, if you do something negative in their eyes, even though it's a mistake, you lose face with them, and then it takes a long time to gain their face back and trust back. I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit. I'm not purposely trying to disrespect nobody, going around disrespecting nobody. But I don't give a shit about gaining my face back with nobody if a mistake was done or, I react a certain way that you probably didn't agree with. I really don't care because they don't care. They don't care how you view them. All right. So, thing about it is, man, if that's your culture, if your culture is capitalism, living in a capitalistic society, so be it. If other people don't like it, fuck them. Fuck with somebody from Europe, somebody from Africa, somebody from South Africa, somebody from Asia, somebody from South America, somebody from Canada, somebody from the other side of America. Fuck what they got to say about your culture. Fuck them. They're going to get mad anyway. When you adopt that mindset, you're going to be okay. I don't worry about what people think about me. Fuck them. Goodness gracious. And if black people are hustling hard to buy trinkets to attract other women, I mean, nothing wrong with having trinkets every now and then. Don't spend beyond your means. But other races of people are doing it too. And if that's our culture, so be that it may. So what? So what? You got people, when I was in China, people were literally squatting, taking shits in the middle of the mall, on the sidewalk, in flower pots, decorated flower pots. You think they care about what I thought about them? No, they did it right in front of me. You don't like it, you can leave. That's a bit extreme, but it is what it is. Yes, just be unapologetically you. Stop worrying about what local people think about you. Kissing ass to them. They're not. Look, over in Korea right now. Remember the other day, I did a video. I did a pre-recorded video telling you guys about how black women are getting attacked, and I played a video from a TikToker. Only played the audio. I played the audio of a TikToker talking about a woman that came to him about her issues. So he decided, like, hey, let's create a solution and create a group on Kakao Talk, and then we'll make a list of all the places to go to, yada, yada, yada. This guy, he's Puerto Rican. He just got hemmed up last night. He got thrown up against the wall last night, and it shook him up. He's like, man, I felt useless. I felt like nobody. It was just like, just being pinned up against the wall like that in front of everybody. And, everybody saw me and nobody didn't do anything. Nobody said anything. Nobody spoke up for me. It was just like, it was really embarrassing. You see what I'm saying? So you think all the Koreans in Korea who are denying black women, denying black people an assault, committing assault and battery crimes against some of these attendees at the club, some of these patrons at a club. They're not even in the club. They're not drunk yet. You think the Korean people over there give a damn about how you're being treated? No. I'm not saying do the same thing to them, but the thing about it is, man, stop walking around with this chip on your shoulder about your culture is the worst. Man, fuck everybody. Let me tell you, you see the same thing in other people's culture. Maybe not exactly to a T, but it's bits and pieces from your culture that's in everybody else's culture. All right? So get over it. A vicious cycle ensues when these women drag these men through court, making them spend most of their paychecks on child support. Yeah, we all know the child support system in America. So, it's kind of like I do agree with that. Why some guys might want to get a passport. It's like, I gave this woman everything, and one day she just didn't like me no more, and she wants to get a divorce over irreconcilable differences. No reason at all. The state grants her everything. She gets the kids. I'm paying child support. She gets the house. She gets my car. I'm sleeping on somebody's couch. It ruined my life. It's not that, okay, you don't want to be with no more. We can set up a plan. I can give you a little something for you to move out, make sure you're okay. But, you get the kids this week, I get the kids the next week. We live close to each other, so there's no issue. Nah, I'm angry because I don't like you anymore, and I want everything. I want spousal support. I want child support, and I just want you to go. I don't even want you here. I don't care. I don't care if they're taking 60% from your check. I don't care. It is what it is. They give those women that option all the time in the court system, in family court. And, I do agree with, that's something we've all had conversations about over the years. We've seen this over the years. All right. So in this book, I do agree with that. I do agree with, that might be a reason why you want to get your passport and travel abroad, because you got women who, if they get with a foreigner, it's almost like you're trapped. It's like, okay, I have to make it work with this person. If I don't make it work, then I may or may not get support from him. And there's nothing that the court system can do about it. There's nothing that the people in my country could do about it. So I'm going to have to make it work. All right. So I get it, and I don't like that women today feel like, okay, I have to make it work because I got with a foreigner and I didn't make it work with people from locally, my own people. And to be honest, most of the time, the women that you're getting from some of these other countries, they've been ostracized from their community. So you're not getting the top tier women in a lot of these cultures out here. But, women of today, you should be filled with joy to build with a man and, build your family and be married to a man and live out the rest of your days together, support each other growing up. You should be ecstatic about it. But most women aren't today. Most women, they just want the kid and they don't want the man. Raise the kid however they want to. And this is all across the board. They have these convoluted reasons why they want to get rid of the father. And I don't agree with that, but I would see why. I would see why, the court system in America would turn a lot of people off. But what's going on in America, that's a global phenomenon. You see what I'm saying? I don't even consider American women women. They're like mutations to me. Okay, so who's better? Give me an example of who's better. What nation has the best women, Black Jaguar? Because I really don't like guys who I don't like it when people go in on American women as if it's just better on the other side of the globe. What's better? Who's better? Who's doing it better? Just because American women don't get along with you, or you're not able to get along with American women, or an American woman an American woman isn't really giving you her time of day, or you're not able to find what you're looking for in America, doesn't mean that the other side of the globe is that much better. So, I would like to know. Facts, Lord Boomin. All these women are the same. You just got to be smart when dealing with them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you, I'm here to tell you, Asian women, let me tell you, Asian women, they view black women the same. They view black men the same way black women view you. All right. A lot of times getting with a lot of these Asian women out here, it's like, it's no different than being with a black woman, or the type of black woman you're trying to run away from in America. And the thing about it is, I like having a woman. I mean, that's wanting a woman is fine, but acting like you need a woman, I mean, that's insane to me. You have a lot of brothers out there who are like desperate for women. It's like, just sit down and work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Women come around when you're not even thinking about them. A lot of women, when you're focused on yourself, a lot of women come around when you least expect it, when you're not even thinking about them at all. But you got niggas who like, oh, I need that. And it's like, oh man, like, what am I to do? It's like, what, life isn't worth living if I don't have a woman on by my side. I mean, you sound weak. This is why I can see why women don't like you. You sound desperate, thirsty, and weak. These women they have enough mental strength. They got enough strength to say, I don't need no man. I don't need a man. Now, do I think that's BS? Yeah, I kind of think that's BS because they're still getting attention from men. They're still doing what they got to do to get attention from men. So I don't believe the whole song and dance about how they don't need a man. They do need a man, because if no men were giving them attention on social media, in life, they would cry about it and complain about it. It would be a problem. It would be the world's problem. It would be society's problem that a woman isn't getting attention from men. But yet you said you don't need a man. But I will say this, going by their words and how they're living, women are just fine by saying they don't need a man. And to me, I don't know why there's a huge role reversal. It's kind of, a lot of males have taken on the feminine side, the feminine characteristics coming from women when it comes to mating. You know what I'm saying? So better is subjective. Yeah, it's like, let me tell you, American women, they're no better or worse than any other woman on the globe. Like, I keep telling you guys, your situations are nothing unique. Your issues are nothing unique. Actually, you got it better than a lot of people out here. You have it much better than a lot of people out here. You have it much better than the average man, the average male in China. There's like 40 million, 45 million more women, 40 million more men than women out there. And the men who are able to get into relationships with women, a lot of times they're in sexless relationships, especially when they're really young. The average guy, if he is in a relationship with a woman in China in their early 20s, a lot of these guys are in sexless relationships because women, they got the game sewn up. They got the game sewed up in China. They run shit in China. You got men at their call and beckon. Men are at their call and beckon in China. They can damn near do whatever they want. Yeah, I got my main guy over here because, his family, they make a lot of money, but I'm not giving him none right now. But I got this other dude at this university who I'm smashing with, and this foreigner I'm smashing with. And my main guy, he better not say nothing because I'll leave him if he doesn't stick around and accept this type of behavior. I'll leave him. And I have 40 million more options, and that's not even including foreigners. We're not even talking about foreigners. So your issues with women is nothing unique, and it's not the worst. The average man in the Middle East, Sri Lanka, India, let me tell you, over 50% of the women over there, they did a research over there. I think they're single, they weren't married, so the numbers of women over 30 with no kids who don't want to be in relationships, who don't want to get married, who don't want to have kids, man, it's increasing. It's higher than it has ever been before. India, they're going through a drought. They are their birth. They have a negative birth rate. The women, they have a negative outlook on life, getting married and being with men. Most women over in India right now in the Middle East, man, they don't want to get married. They don't want to have kids. They don't want to be with men. All right. So your issues are nothing unique. Acting out, the family court system in those countries are different. Yeah. Which is why a lot of these women, they don't want to get married and have kids at all. South Korea, negative birth rate. Japan, negative birth rate. Taiwan, negative birth rate. India, negative birth rate. China, negative birth rate. Women don't want to have families, period. You guys can look that up. So your situation is nothing unique. And you're lucky that you're in a country where in certain cities, women outnumber men, and you do have options. Hold on. Hold on. That's my 21-year-old bid hitting me up, asking when can she see me today. 21, do my thing. I do my damn thing. These little niggas scared they won't do a damn thing. All right, so it would be difficult to find a black man in the 21st century who hasn't witnessed the uptick in racialized political, social, and economic drama occurring in the United States. However, the cultural trend in Black America is to view these issues from the same perspective. Holding an alternative position goes against the so-called code. I agree with that. I somewhat agree with that. Similarly, traveling to other countries, experiencing alternate ways of thought, and adopting a more globalized worldview is seen as a carnal sin in the community. He uses a lot of slang. He wrote "the community." He wrote that, and I do agree with that. Adopting a more globalized worldview. I would have to pick his brain about what is a more globalized worldview. What does that mean? Having a globalized worldview, what does that entail? Experiencing alternate ways of thought. What does that, having a global worldview, I want to know, what does that mean? Because a lot of guys, they so-called take on this global worldview when they travel abroad and they lose themselves. Don't think that everybody who's traveling abroad, living abroad is winning. No, they're not. All right. So, meanwhile, brothers with passports thinking more broadly instead of locally find themselves in better positions. Why? Because they have better options. Brothers who are going overseas are finding wives overseas. Some of them are buying foreign land to expand their opportunities in business. Now, hold up. I have to slow down with that one. Are some of these brothers who are traveling overseas finding wives? Yes. I've seen some brothers who are finding wives over here. Okay. A lot of these brothers, are they finding these nines and dimes that some of these guys are talking about on the internet? No. Right? No, they're getting the same caliber of women that they're complaining about from back home over here. I met a lot of guys who are getting with these over-the-hill women as wives. Seen a lot of guys trapping some of these women. Well, these women allowed themselves to be trapped. One of your biggest YouTubers out here, a black man married to, I'm not going to say which nationality, but he met her at a club, had a one-night stand, pretty much skeeted off in her on purpose because his visa ran out. He had gotten a divorce. His visa was going to run out that year. He to this day, he still doesn't have a degree. He's been getting by on marriage visas, and he knew, okay, damn, I'm going to have to go back home, and I don't want to go back home. So first woman he met that he smashed, nutted up in her. She was going to have an abortion. He convinced her family to keep the baby, told her about her pregnancy, told them about the pregnancy, convinced her to keep the baby. So she ended up keeping the baby, getting married to him to save face. And they have an interesting relationship. It's a sexless marriage. And everybody who's came around this couple, they always say, okay, this person, every time I go into their house, the wife talks to him in a stern voice, angrily. But everybody's looking to him for advice. Everybody's asking him, how do I get a wife? Everybody's going to him for everything. And, you know, to each his own. But I know this person. I'll say the guys who have had the most cooperative wives, best looking wives abroad, especially in Asia, these guys, they met their wives in university in Canada or America. They were exchange students in Canada or America. They met them there. Then they went back to their home country with them. And they lived happily ever after. Those are the main ones. A lot of other brothers, man, I'll say Africans, they getting that cooperation, but even certain Africans, man, I see them with, you got a lot of chubby chasers out here. I've seen a lot of Africans out here married. They're doing their thing. They got their own business, but they with a woman who has like 2 kids by 2 different baby daddies out here. So they're the third baby daddy. I'm like, okay. A lot of guys coming out here being stepfathers. But you do see some guys out here who have decent looking women, decent wives on their arm that are not stepfathers. Okay? That are not stepfathers. The average brother that I met, were they married? No. A lot of black men that I met out here, they're not married, but the ones that are married, I'll say out of all the brothers that I met that were married, I can really only salute 2 of them. One was the other day I was in Foodland in Hue Quang, and I went to Foodland supermarket, and that's on Facebook. You guys can watch that video. I think he was African. I could tell by that haircut he was African, but he was in there, with a badass Asian woman. And then I keep telling y'all, these African dudes, they outshining American brothers when it comes to women. All right. And there's another brother out here who is married and has kids with a Filipino woman, but she's Filipino American. So he didn't come out here and found a local. He came out here and found a Filipino American. You know what I'm saying? That was working out here. All right. So does he really count? Nah. The other two guys I can salute, but they met their wives as exchange students in America. So that's what I'm saying. When I hear guys talking about this whole America, I don't want to bring them back because they become Americanized. Nigga, you don't even know what you're talking about. Some of the best married couples I've seen, long-lasting married couples that I've seen where they hold each other down, were women who were exchange students in America or Canada, and their husbands met them while they were in university. So I don't know what y'all talking about. All right. But all these guys coming out here finding wives, man, they a lot of these guys, man, they're hooking up with trash out here. I would say most brothers, not all, but most that I've seen are hooking up with trash out here. They're hooking up with trash and giving trash the attention all the time of day, all the attention all the time of day out here. So is that somebody? Can I really give you a salute to that? No. Is it all black men? No. But the majority of them, yes. Yes, the majority of black men who I see with women on their arms and they're married to women out here is really nothing to brag about. Trust me. Trust me. They're taking all this shit from those women. I'm like, it ain't really nothing to brag about. So technically, there are a handful of brothers finding wives out here? Yes. Is there really anything to brag about? No. The options mentioned above allow these brothers to decide whether they will stay in the U.S. or move overseas. These benefits are causing black men to consider, plan, and exercise options they would have never thought possible by remaining among the hyena pack. I mean, you know, the thing about it is if you're deciphering whether to leave or stay or which woman you should hook up with in the hood, then obviously, you know, I would feel like you're talking about yourself. You're really talking about yourself because it keeps on talking about the hood in here, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I ain't never messed around with hood bitches in America, so I don't know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a choice. You have a choice not to mess around with hood bitches. So if all you can do is compare women overseas to hood bitches in America, then you really haven't been exposed to that many different types of women. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know where he's from, but it's like, quote unquote hood booger women, they've never ever been on my radar. I've never pursued a hood chick or tried to date one. You know, I've hung out with a few every now and then, but I ain't never tried to do anything sexual or get in a relationship with no hood chick. So I feel sorry for the brother if he can't escape hood women, but I mean, technically you can just travel to another town, travel to another city. That's what I'm saying. I advise a lot of brothers to travel to like Austin, San Antonio, you know, go to Seattle, go to Portland, Oregon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We live in the so-called greatest country on earth with many benefits that only European men have been using the maximum advantage for years. Very few brothers, on the other hand, have been doing the same. Brothers now need to get in the game, and increasingly they have been. However, more black men need to get a passport and abandon the hyena's tit. And I'm going to stop right there and let you guys read the rest. He said, many save yourself black men brothers have wives from Japan, Thailand, Germany, France, South America, or South Africa. Okay. And I need to do an entire special on what brothers are going through with their Japanese wives in Japan and their Thai wives in Thailand. Okay. In Germany, I got an uncle. Who married a woman, had 2 daughters in Germany. He lost everything. Matter of fact, I want to ask my mother to give me his number. I want to call him. Hold on. What's your uncle's contact information in Germany? I want to talk to him. But I'm in that chapter right there. We've been going on 2 hours now. There's some, like I said, there's some things I agree with that chapter. There's some things that I had to put my own spin to it. It's not that he's right or wrong. It's just that I just had to put in my own experience. So when I say I disagree, I'm not saying that he's totally wrong on certain things. It's just that I can go by my experience because I've seen it, I've lived it. And I don't know if, mad bus drivers really ever travel like that. But I will say this, that don't think that you're just going to travel abroad and get yourself a wife, get yourself something better abroad, as far as like, I would say the only difference is you don't have the child support system lingering over your head in America like you do in some of these countries. But let me tell you, in Japan, they have a child support system over there that's far worse than America. At least in America, you get visitation rights. You get a right to see your kids. In Japan, they don't have to grant you visitation rights. So they'll make you pay child support and they'll say, hey, you're not allowed to see this child until 18. You have a 2-month-old, and they say if you ever bother coming around the family because they view you as a danger and a threat to their well-being, and if you ever come around them within the 18 years of you paying child support to try to see your child, we're going to lock you up. And think about Japan, they can lock you up without charging you with anything. They don't have to. They can figure out what somebody can accuse you of something. And they can figure out what the charges are while they have you locked up. So you could be locked up for months, years, and you don't even know the charges. Just somebody accused you of something. I remember one time, one of my partners just got locked up because I guess he broke up with his girl, and she just wanted to get back at him. So she said, yeah, he hit me. He hadn't seen her in months, right? He hit me. Even though he had a mountain of evidence proving that he never hit her. He hasn't even been in contact with her whatsoever. They just took her side and had him sit in a Japanese jail for like 2 to 3 months. Then they released him and said, okay, you're free to go. And that time period is like you lose your job, you lose everything. You see what I'm saying? So, I know a couple guys who, that same guy, his daughter is like, I think his daughter just turned 20. And he hasn't seen his daughter since she was like a couple months old. Like right when the daughter was born, the mother didn't want to have anything to do with him. And she took him to court. And the court said, hey, she didn't ask for child support. She just said, I want a restraining order against him. I don't want him around. This guy's not a violent guy. She just didn't like him anymore. And So he hasn't seen his daughter in 20 years. So don't think that the court system is just so much better abroad as some of these other countries. Nah, they'll do you in even dirtier than some of the laws they have in place in America. The family court system in those countries are different. Absolutely. East Asian women are overrated, I think. I think all these hoes are overrated. I think all these hoes are overrated. I think y'all, not y'all, but I think a lot of guys out here are putting humans on a pedestal, and they're not even, they can't even be cooperative. They can't even cooperate with you. Guys, all right, so I dropped the link. You guys want to call in and give your opinion, you could do so. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. If you have any comments, now's the time to call in or type it in the chat box. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. If you want to leave a donation, you can hit the super chat button right there underneath the chat box. If you want to donate to the Cash App, $Splashway Beats is on the screen. If you want to join the Patreon, link is in the description box below. If you want to donate by joining the YouTube membership, Rent Free Gang YouTube membership, you can click the join button underneath this video. All right. If you want to make a donation through PayPal, the link is in the description box below. Also, to stay updated with everything that's going on with this channel, you can join the Facebook group. All right. So the link for that is underneath this video in the description box below. Okay. So let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what's on your mind. All right. The line is open. Any questions, comments, concerns, you can click the link, or you can type it in the chat box, in the chat. All right. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what's on your mind. Happy Meal? No, it wasn't Ralph. And who? Nobody was even talking about Ralph. Okay, so no, that story was not about Ralph, and nobody ever mentioned about Ralph. So I'm gonna remove this comment. Okay. So we're not name dropping. Guys, hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Did you know you had a female doppelganger? Okay, I don't, or Filipino doc. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about. But okay. Does anybody have anything else they want to add to the topic? Anything else they want to add? Once again, man, super chat donations. The link for that is working and it's there. If you want to send a donation, you can send a donation through Cash App. Salute to the brother Aaron. I'm not going to say your full name, but thank you, Aaron, for the $5 super chat donation. Okay. Well, not super chat, Cash App donation. Sorry. Thank you, Aaron, for the $5 Cash App donation. Thank you, Russian Spy, for the $5 super chat donation. Okay. No, there's a channel with the YouTuber also calls out and addresses men about being thirsty and having poor standards, but from the perspective of the Philippines. Okay, that's good for them. That's good for them. I mean, as long as they're being objective, then much respect. Much respect. But as far as them, I don't if you come from a background of, yes, it's a developing country, and prostitution is heavy out there in the Philippines, then calling out somebody for being thirsty, like, I don't certain people I don't take seriously. Like, women out here, they get angry if you ask if they're a lady boy or not. Like, you're a woman, right? And women, they get pissed off out here if you ask them that. And it's kind of like, those women, you just block them. Don't even deal with those women. They get mad, just block them, unfriend them, because that's basically what the energy of your relationship is going to be if you continue to do something with them. Just block those type of women. They're not even worth your time, because that's the culture out here. You're getting mad because somebody's asking you about your culture. All right. This is why I say, that's one of the reasons why I say, hey, don't be afraid to offend nobody. If somebody offended you, don't be afraid to call out nobody if they were being disrespectful to you, because they get mad over every little thing over here. All right. These women, and it's basically, it's their way of trying to control men. They're testing you. That's their way of testing you. So don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? When you have every right to ask a woman if they're a woman or not. You have every right to ask women that, especially in Thailand and the Philippines. You have every right to ask these women that question. They get mad. Bye. Because they'll ask you dumbass questions all day too. And that's not even a dumb question. It's not even a dumb question. I think you'll collaborate well. He gave me the idea about speaking of the specific laws targeting foreigners in Thailand. He claims it's worse, actually. What's the name of his channel? What's the name of his channel? I'll take a look at it right now. I can look at it right now. Mike's Philippines journey. Hold on. What's this video? Seems like he's going in on. All right, I might look at it, but okay, his description is looking to meet a Filipina to marry, date, or to have some fun with. Whether you plan to meet someone online or to come visit the Philippines and meet them on site, my goal is to give tips and advice on life here in the Philippines and the dating scene. I've had the opportunity to live here in the Philippines and have visiting multiple places here in the Philippines and had the pleasure of enjoying the country, its people, and the culture of the Filipinos. I hope to share my experience as a foreigner. Okay. All right. All right. Interesting. All right, so that's on my time today. Thank you guys. Thank you, Russian Spy, for the $5 super chat donation. Guys, on your way out, please hit the like button. Donate to the Cash App on your way out, $ Splashway Beats. Check out all the links in the description box below. Don't forget to join the Facebook group. Don't forget to check out the Patreon page, link in the description box below. Join the YouTube membership plan that I got. And we open, we out, man. I might do another live tomorrow. I'll keep you guys posted. So we open, we out. Thank you. Peace.